Hi, this is Mark with L&M Small Engine. Today we're going to be working on an Arien's 20 horsepower 46-inch deck riding lawnmower. It's been sitting outside all winter long. We're going to do a spring tune-up on it, and we're going to level the deck. It wasn't cutting right last year, so we'll go through all that. Hope you enjoy this video. Okay, before we start working on this, it's just so much easier to pop the hoods off of these when we start working on these. So all you gotta do is just make sure to unhook your headlights and grab the front, and about right in this area here, you lift up, just wiggle around until you lift up, and it just pops right out of the Okay, one of the complaints that this lawnmower had was it wasn't cutting level. So there's a bunch of different things that could be wrong with the first and very first thing to do is check your air pressure, because if you have one low back tire, it's gonna, when you're mowing, you'll have a line in your lawn. So the very most important thing is make sure all the both back tires are set at their recommended pressure, and the two front ones, but the back tires are the most important. Then on the blades, we're gonna throw a new set of blades on these. But if you're mowing and there's like a stripe in the center of the two blades, that means the blades are really dull and they're starting to round off. When they're like that, it's just best to replace them. And always have sharp blades, because dull blades, you will get the belt hot and stretch out, and you'll ruin your belt. And plus, it's just an extra load on the motor. So depends on how big your yard is, your acreage is. Always make sure you have sharp blades. But anyways, we'll jack this up, and I'll show you how to level the deck and everything, and see if the blade's better or something. But these little doohickeys here are really nice to have. They don't even cost that much. Under $5 on eBay or Amazon. What you do is you stick it on the floor and you set the blades right here, and it'll tell you the height. You do both sides. Then there's on the back of the decks, there's an adjustment right there, but I'll show you, there's adjustments there. Then you got from the front to the back, the level of the deck, there's a bar that goes up front. They're usually 3/4 inch nut. That's how you make the deck level this way. So the deck will be level sideways and front to back. And we'll have brand new blades on it, so you'll have a nice smooth lawn. But the most important thing is air pressure, and make sure the blades are sharp. So I'll get the jack over here, and we'll go ahead and get started on it. Okay, before I get too far ahead of myself, we're going to do the tires right now. On the front tires, it recommends 14 pounds on the front one, so that's what we're going to do now. And the back ones are recommended at 10. So. Okay, all the tires are supposed to be at the proper inflation. So now we're going to go ahead and jack it up and check out the blades and put a new belt on. Okay, we got it up. I can see right now that blade's bent right there. And while you have them up in the air, check for all zerks too. There's always ones on the front tires, on the axles, and where the spindles go in the front frame, there's 2 zerks there, and a lot of the cool assemblies have them. Make sure you grease everything up. Anyways, I'll get the rest, take these blades off, and I'm going to lower the deck and I'm going to replace the belt. Okay, as you can tell, these blades do not line up. There's like about a 1/2 inch difference between this blade and this blade. So on this one here, the blades are bent. That pretty much usually happens if you're cutting through tall grass and you hit something that's buried in the grass, like some metal or a rock or something like that. So I'll go and pop these off. And I got this gun set here. It's this gun especially for blades. I got it on a low setting, so when I tighten these up, it's not so tight that you can't take the bolts out. A lot of people take these off with just a wrench and stuff, so. But you don't want them on there loose. But this gun's just set for blades, so. There's a 5-point round star on these, and there's one on these quills. Make sure that slides right in there, and always make sure your wings are pointing up, you know, don't have it like that. Wings are always up. So, slide it right in that star there. Just like that. Same with this one. Wings up in that star. Goes right in that one there. So okay, I got the blades kind of out like this for now. The reason for that is when I set it back on the ground, that deck leveler tool, I'll kind of know where the blades are. So that thing will rest on the bottom of the blades. That will tell the levelness of the deck. But on this one here, I know what the reason was. The blades were bent. So we got them on. As you can see, they're level. So, but just make sure on this side where the discharge shooters, you can have that and where you can see it. But on the left side, have the blade go like this so you know where the blade is, so you use that tool to check the levelness of the deck. And being we have it up, we're going to go ahead and grease the zerks. There's no zerks on these quills. Some quills have zerks and some don't. But we're going to go ahead and grease the front axle. Being it's up in the air, a lot easier to get to. Before we get greasing, we'll clean the zerks off. If there's stuff on the holes there, the grease ain't gonna go in. So I'll get them cleaned off. Alright, now we can go ahead and grease them. Let's kind of look around. Different brand lawnmowers are all different. Some have zerks in other places. But on this one here, I checked all over, and these are the only ones that I saw. So get that hook down there. Give it some grease. So you see it starting to come out there. And we'll go ahead and do this one. Okay. Well, we'll take our rag and clean up all the excess. All the excess grease on the zerks. Okay, now we're gonna put that new belt on. Okay, we're gonna take the covers off the pulleys, and I'm gonna engage the belt so all the brakes are off the pulleys and everything. Okay, we got our covers off. Clean all that debris up from under there. And on the lawnmowers, they have like a belt map that's stamped. That's a sticker stamped on the deck. So it tells you how the belt goes and everything. So let's go ahead and take that belt off. And there we go, you can tell this belt got hot. It's all black, and when they get hot, it's because the dull blades, the belts get hot and they stretch out. So we got a new belt here. Always make sure it's the same size as your old belt. It'll be a smidgen smaller, but in the right area. So we'll start with the front pulley. like I said, just follow that map right there. So we're gonna go around this, make sure it goes in between the pulley and the keeper. There's a keeper there. Put that on there like that. Okay. Now with the blazing gauge, that means the belt's tight. We're gonna go ahead and put our covers back on, so you know that it's all, everything's in where it's supposed to be. Okay, then go ahead and take that engagement off. And that part's done. Now let's go ahead and service that engine now. Okay, now we're going to drain the oil on this. This one here is a twin cylinder Briggs & Stratton, 20 horsepower. And on these particular ones, they have this little push and turn drain plug on them. And as you can see, they're like about 1 inch on the frame. So I have this special hose I put on there so it comes out over the frame and it goes right in my oil pan. As you can see now, it's draining, and that oil is pretty black. So I'm going to go ahead and let that drain, and the oil filter on the side. After that drains, we're going to put a new oil filter on there. We're going to put new plugs, air filter, fuel filter. We're going to change the gas because the gas sat here all winter long. And I charged up the battery earlier today. And I put a load on it, and it's not holding up. So we're gonna install a new battery too. These batteries, you know, if they freeze a few times in winter time, it takes a lot of the life out of them. So, first thing we'll do, we'll get this oil drained. Grab us a new oil filter. See what kind of air filter we need. Okay, You can see that's really dirty too. Okay, the oil stopped dripping. So we'll take our pliers and push it and turn to lock that. Take our little hose off. Put the black cap on. And I'm gonna replace the spark plug on. There's 2 spark plugs on this. See how it burning a little bit rich, but as you can see, that was really plugged up. So we're gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna put this new one on. This new one has a pre-filter on it. I like these so much better. So we got that in there. Got our new plug, it's all gapped and everything. So much easier doing this with the hood off too. Got her snug. Your spark plug wire on, make sure it clicks. Okay, we're done with this side for now. Let's go to the other side and change that oil filter and stuff. Slide the drain plug or the drain pan over there. Okay, we got the new air filter in there, so let's go ahead and set that back on there. Okay, the oil filter's right there, so got a wrench. Sometimes these things around there are so tight, it's unreal. set a paper towel right here because this is like right over the frame. Try making the least mess as possible. There we go. And it depends on where you live. There should be an oil recycling center somewhere. Always make sure you take your oil to a recycling center. Drip a few more, grab a few more paper towels. Cleaned up. Make sure that little flat rim is nice and clean. And on your new filter, just dab a little bit of oil on there, and this nice thin coat of oil. Put that on there. Just don't have it real tight, just like snug it up a little bit. Okay, now that's done. So let's go dump the oil in here real quick. This is a 40 cubic inch Briggs, and they take a quart and a half, and I recommend 30 weight, SAE 30. Just go and put it in there. We'll get the oil in there, then when you're all done, you'll start it, let it run about a minute, and shut it off, and check your dipstick. And on the 44 cubic inch ones, it takes between a quart and 3/4 and 2, but you put a quart and 3/4 and start up, let the oil run through the filter, everything, and check it. And on the 49 cubic inch ones, they take 2 quarts, some take 2 1/4. Get this nice clean oil in there. New filter, new plug, everything gonna run like brand new again. Okay, got that in there. Go ahead and put our dipstick in. Make sure it's locked. Alright, let's put that new plug in. And you kind of compare both sides, and they pretty much look the same. That way you can tell your valves are working properly and there ain't no broken rings or stuff like that. Okay, put the spark plug wire on. I'm gonna change the fuel filter. And it will say on the new ones which way the flow is. The arrow always points towards the carburetor. Just like that. Okay, let me clean this mess up here. Okay, let's go ahead and put this head back on. Go and hook our lights. Okay. Now before we put the blades on, I kind of had that one blade over here kind of out so you're not feeling around. And when you're doing this, absolutely don't have the motor running. I know it's silly to say, but don't have the motor running, don't have nobody on the seat, any kids or anything, even in fact, even take the key out. Because you just never know what's going to happen. But we had that blade sticking out, so. Alright, it's right there. So this piece right here will rest on the bottom of the blade there. Just push it up to where it hits on it. So 3.5. So check this side out over here. This side really don't matter because you can lift up on the discharge chute. Bring the blade out. Well, then go ahead and put that under there and just have it sit on the bottom of the blade. And it's right at 3.5. So the deck set, most importantly, make sure the tires have uniform air pressure. Always make sure the blades are sharp because those mow so much better and less stress on the belt and the engine. But anyways, that's the video. You know, I hope you enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you watching, and hope you subscribe to my channel because of the videos I've been making. And I like answering everybody's questions, so if you have a question or something, feel free to throw out a question to me, and I'll sure answer it as fast as I can and as truthful as I can. But anyways, thanks for watching. Happy mowing.